Video has been transmuted, and we are ready to start. Hello, my gamers. This is the Age of Unification D&D game. I am the DM, Disturbed Engineer, and with me are my friends. They will rotate in and out as we have a whole bunch of players, as you can see on this side. So, you'll see a lot more people in these games. This game started at level 1, but I'm going to be uploading videos where the players are at right now, level 4. These players started out traveling the world. Their mission is to get to Almany, a big old city in the country of Elucidium. Well, the world of Elucidium, the country of Forlorn, below Asteria. I will show you the map of it right now. This has a lot of lore, which you will learn with the players. Let me just show you here. This is Forlorn. This is Asteria. They are right now in Orissa. They are right now making their way to Almany. They are right now in the county of Nora, ran by, as you can guess, the nobleman of Nora. Right now, they have just finished a recent quest, hunting down a cultist known as the Chosen. They found his crypt, but he escaped at the last moment. Him and the others are now tasked with meeting up old friends, a paladin group called the Order of Light, up in Banburg. These adventurers have a mobile lab where they have obtained a broken warforged of sorts. This broken warforged has repaired most of itself, except, of course, one part that it cannot reach. Its tonsils. But they have just found... It is now... we will now introduce these players. Thorn, would you like to go first?
I am Thorn, a hill dwarf that was captured and experimented on by a skull drag. I was able to escape, but my legs were morphed into horrible claws, and the back and my back has been turned into needles.
Yep.
Pretty painful.
Pretty painful indeed. Rock.
I am Rock, and I came here for adventure. I came from a noble family, and
You just wish it to have fun. And Mafatra?
I am Mafatra. I am an acolyte elf.
Who do you work
also
for?
is a wizard.
Remember, we wrote this all. You have everything you need in information.
Yep.
There you go. This is our brave journey. This group will brave thick and thin for each other, and now they'll be able to start. You each are still in the crypt. You have found the tonsils, and there's much more you can get. The journal has already been found, and I've already read it out for each of you. And now you get your treasures. You find some raw ore and silver, about 5 pounds of each to be exact, and a small little lockbox filled with a rare type of coin, electrum. This coin is special because it is from an age long before. An age before the dragons came, before they fought with the giants, and during the time when the only masters of men were themselves. You may split this amongst yourself. I'd recommend splitting it evenly, so 50 each. Does that sound fair to each of you?
Yep.
Okay? Add 50 electrum to your papers. My Wi-Fi is actually going down. I wonder why.
No way they have Wi-Fi in D&D.
Well, right now my thing is saying that I skipped 60 frames. So, ugh. Anyways, that seems all you can find. What do you wish to do now? Do you wish to explore this crypt a bit more? Or go back to your mobile lab and give the tonsils to your broken warforged ally?
I feel like exploring seems better. We could find more info.
And the rest of the party?
Yeah, that seems fine.
Remember that each of you have a voice that, if you wish, you can use as much as you see fit. You begin exploring. You go through the rooms that you've already done the puzzles of. The holographic Dragonborn seems to be in disrepair from last time. Not working after expending all of its energies to protect what it thought to be its master. You see a stairwell. Not the one that leads outside, but a different one. You haven't explored this way yet. You each go up it, and you find this place used to be, well, resting places. Beds covered with cobwebs and old dust. A dresser, a bed and a dresser. Gosh. And nothing really peculiar. There seemed to be another stairwell, but it's blocked by rubble, giant rocks from an ancient cave-in long ago.
Can I roll a history check?
Sure. 15. You believe that this place might have been under siege. Though this might have been one of the many exit ways. Could have been an erosion from time, could have been an assault. But what you do notice is that each of these rooms have the rebel sigil for the ironclad warriors. Warriors who built Warforged to fight against the ancient Skull King's armies. You think these can fetch a pretty penny, although they are only banners, of course. Major disrepair, some of them have been eaten through by worms and other insects. But still, a collector might want these even in such disrepair. You may speak now. Ah, you're muted. I assume that you'd want to take these, am I right? Because there's about 3 of them, and if you wish, you can add them to your inventory.
Oh, seems about right.
Yep.
I'll take one.
Okay. Thorin, you go into one of the rooms and you take it off the wall, and it is covered in a layer of dust, almost every part of it. It's hanged on. It's connected to a little circular. It's connected to a piece of wood that has a string through it and over it, seemingly supposed to be hanging off of a nail of sorts. The emblem on it seems to just to be an iron face of a dragonborn.
Oh,
Yep. It doesn't. It's other than that. You put it in your backpack, and I assume the others do the same. Mafatra, is that right?
Uh-huh.
And Rock, add that to your inventory as well. Remember? Do you guys remember how to add stuff to your equipment?
Yep. Is that a...
No.
You go to equipment, you hit open equipment, and then you'll see the plus sign. You can hit add and then put a little description. For the description, put the Iron Band Rebellion banner.
Rebellion banner?
Yep, Rebellion banner.
Uh,
There you go. What else do you
Well,
wish to
I
do?
guess.
What else do you wish to do in this place?
sorry?
What else do you wish to do?
Uh,
There are beds with, and in the rooms there's dressers, but it doesn't seem there's much else in there.
I guess that could be all, but we could check just to be sure.
How do you wish to check?
Just opening it seems right.
They're all already opened. Like the dressers?
mm,
Yep.
You open the dressers and it seems to be just common clothes from the area. Made of simple leathers and whatnot. Although, like I said, they're bug-eaten.
Guess that was all.
This place is ancient. I hear the Legend of Zelda music.
That's my father.
I know. I saw the circle gleam for a second. Do you wish to return?
sorry.
It's all right. Do you wish to return to your mobile lab?
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You each go back. Walking out of the crypt into the cold night. Although the sense of ever-present danger has slimmed a bit to now just a simple sense of unease. You track your footsteps back towards what is now a smoldering fire. The embers still hot, but the fire long dead. And your mobile lab. You see Sita and Garter, the two other character players, asleep in there, and you see the Warforged, Solve. Do you wish to give him his tonsils?
Yep.
You see, as you walk in, you see him working over a new piece of metal that he plans to add on to himself. Probably more metal to add onto his arm, so it doesn't expose the complicated mechanics and the machinery underneath. As he looks up at your hand, you see that you hear as his eyes go wide, seeing a pair of old but working tonsils. You see, as it immediately takes him and starts to taking off the neck piece, setting down the metal, and you can see the inner workings, small patches of steam leaking out of it, more and more metal working in gears around it, and in the very center, you see a heavily punctured and rusted over set of tonsils. You watch as it carefully takes it out and sets it on the table. And watch as it carefully, over the course of 5 minutes, starts putting it back. And as it does, with one final you watch as it kind of turns its neck around, trying to get used to this new feeling as it goes. It's been so long since I've been able to have a voice. As he says,
Oh.
as he picks up the metal piece that used to surround his neck and lifts up his neck and clicks it back in and says, I thank you for going to what my master's old hideout. I hope it wasn't too much of a laborious journey. I know you're not.
And
I will continue to fix myself, but I am under your... Well, to say I owe you one would be a big understatement, to say the least. Although my old name has been defiled by my dishonor, I'll stick with it in the name you have given me. Solve. Fitting enough as is. Now, if I may be so bold, I will need, well, I do have a lead on how to repay you and improve myself. Do you wish to hear upon it?
sure.
You ever heard of a Korrig?
No, I don't think so.
It's a tricksy little fey creature. Short, but made of stone as is. They come into this world seeking out the rarest of materials, and can sniff them out with ease. As an Iron Warrior myself trying to rebuild and remake myself, I will keep in line and say that he will lead you to jewels, gems, and all that you want, and lead me to silver and, well, maybe even mithril if I'm so lucky. But for now, I can't ask too much of you. My debt's already rising up as is. Now, my question to each of you is, can you... I would like to hunt down the person that found me first, the alchemist. He might lead me towards my next destination, for he knows who I must hunt. Now, do you each remember the alchemist? The one who used to own this mobile lab?
Yep.
Torin, would you like to update or remind them? Thorin?
Hold on, I'm checking.
Old notes, I hear then. That's going to be fun.
When we first found him, we did find some few remains of somebody else living there with Soul. So it could be a clue, but at the same time, it could be nothing.
Okay. He looks over each of you and says, the old alchemist bought me during a old transaction between a dwarf who found me in the rubble of a old underdark cavern. He spent some time fixing me up. He managed to repair my tonsils, which had been so damaged from the water that was seeping onto me and into my neck. He repaired my head and my chest and put me back in working order. And he would have continued until he discovered something. I remember he would often make journeys into the Underdark, leaving me in his little mobile lab for days to months at a time. I would wonder what he would do. He would come back with new bits of information, marking down on a map where he next wants to go, next needs to go, Till one day, he discovered something. He ran back to the mobile lab in a frenzied fear with multiple pieces of paper. You found these papers, kept on to them. He did not need them, for he replicated them, and ran off towards, as he stated, an ancient home. Him being a dwarf, he might have went to the ones who decided to go towards the islands. They did not wish to keep in command with the others. But I was given a different task, so I couldn't look down upon them. You see, there was a little bit of a divide. Half were meant to guard the escape of our masters, but half decided that they did not need protection anymore and ran away towards an Isle of Fey magic, where they taught the gnomes, you gnomes, as he looks at Rock, the power of creation. I assume he must be around there somewhere. But that's that for another time. I assume you each look a little ragged. Some, well, rest will do you miles of good. What do you each say?
I mean, loot and gold sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, we can go.
Yeah, I'll go with it.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, this is going to be a long-term quest where you won't immediately get to go. This is for something later down the line. For now, you must keep on your original mission. So, do you each take a long rest?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
You each spend the next 8 hours patching up your wounds and taking turns sleeping, with one person taking each guard. I'll let you each decide who gets first, second, and third guard.
I'll guard first.
Okay, you may make a perception check. Roll a perception check, Rook.
Yeah.
You see and notice that many of the dangers that once roamed this forest have waned. The only things that seems to be roaming around is local animal fare that seems not to be coming out of it, but returning towards the forest, as if they were once afraid but no longer need to be. You see many things. Weasels, deer, elk, and the like, returning to the forest. You notice that yesterday's snow has waned, but a light frost has covered the ground. And other than that, it seems like a pleasant night, especially after yesterday. Who goes next? This time you choose,
I
Rock.
will.
Thorin.
You wake up Thorin and take your turn to sleep. Let's see what you see. Now, your shift is a little bit more interesting. You find that that there is a lot of movement in between the returning animals, but nothing to get your hairs twisted over. What especially catches your eye is the moving band of people. Nomads or hunters that you don't know. You just see their lights in the distance, about 120 feet. Would you like to investigate?
I could look for afar, sure.
You'll have to leave your mobile lab. Is that alright?
Yep.
As you leave your mobile lab, lighting a torch on your way, you get closer and it seems like they're horses. Maybe people riding on horseback. But as you get close, you notice that the people aren't necessarily riding, as they more are connected. As you see a band of centaurs. They seem to be clad in simple leather armors and are following the forest fowl. Birds returning to the forest that was once dominated by crows and spiders. As you come closer, one looks upon you. He seems older, probably in his 60s or 50s. A long gray beard and baggy blue commoner's clothing, a rarity among their kind. Long silver hair drapes down to his shoulders as he slowly and carefully walks up towards you and says, "Huh. It's strange to see the forest animals come down to this cursed place. But we do not question it, for it's the mother of nature's doing, of course. May I ask what you're doing so close to this forest?"
The reason why the animals are returning is because a cult was attracting evil towards the forest. We burned down the forest and are now resting as we speak.
His eyes kind of sway a bit as he looks towards what used to be the compound, although you cannot see it anymore. He must have known about it. He looks to you and says, "We passed by that smoldering mound. There seemed to be a group. A simple group. Wondering what happened. We tried to give them aid, but they would not listen. They said that a chosen has abandoned them, and they will return to their go towards a former home, and started walking towards a nearby city. I believe it's called Banburg.
Oh, I guess that's where we're heading next.
I don't see why not. There seems to be an influx of paladins. Didn't you hear they were staying at a nearby city? They were. Do you remember what the city's name was?
I believe Almond.
Nope. That's the city you're going to. The city you just left was called Lindau. Does that ring any bells?
Yeah.
Not really.
Because you and Rock joined after the whole Lindau fiasco. He says they built a bunch of defenses there. Big old towers and whatnot. Though I guess it came to fruition when some bandits attacked. A whole gang of them trying to take over the one old city. They left a division there. Although they did take a few casualties, civilians and soldiers alike. But they did get out of it relatively unharmed.
Like the D&D group massacre?
Nope.
Oh.
That's where they fought cultists and gnolls there. But anyways,
that's bad.
I wish blessings of nature upon you. We shall safeguard the forest better this time, making sure evil does not come towards it.
Well, the spiders were a pain after all.
He looks up at the old cobwebs and says, "Centaurs aren't made for climbing, so I'm glad they're gone now. Especially the stink of an Etten. You watch it as he turns and leaves with the rest of his group, who waited at a safe distance, overhearing the conversation. They leave, and that's the rest of your watch. Mafatra, it is your turn to roll a perception check.
Alright, roll?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to roll?
Perception.
That's the perception. It should be underneath your
Skills.
score.
Mafatra, no. Like, you roll
Passive
1d20
wisdom.
plus your perception.
Oh,
Like they rolled.
1d20?
Plus whatever
Plus.
your perception is.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Perception. Passive perception?
No, regular perception.
Alright.
Regular perception says it's under skills.
It should be right under nature.
Yep.
Skills, alright. +4. Oh, darn.
You were close that time.
Roll D. 1d20. 20. +4. +4.
You don't really
13.
see much on your watch. Crows flying out of the forest. Hawks, pigeons, doves, and eagles flying in. And other than that, nothing too much. The morning comes. And with that, the end of your long rest. Your 2 horses have slept well, and you could take the road back to the main road and towards Banburg. It shouldn't be a few more days, probably 3 or 4, especially in this mobile lab. Do you wish to start your journey?
We completed everything, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so let me tell you something. On these few days, you may choose an activity you can try and do. That can be making potions, practicing combat skills, stuff like that. What would you like to do? Like, in this-
what were the options again?
so in this mobile lab, you have many different things. So let me double check here. In the mobile lab, you have a herbalism kit, which can be used to make potions and has basic supplies. A smithing table, which you can use to repair, reforge, or try and sharpen your swords. And some, I believe that is it. So, what activity would you each like to do?
I would like to sharpen a sword.
Do you have which sword do you have?
I'm pretty sure I don't have a sword, but I'm pretty sure I could repair someone else's sword.
I mean, I have tool proficiency with forgery.
Forgery isn't. Forgery is the act of like stealing someone's way of writing, stuff like that.
Oh, must have it wrong. Hold on.
Like you have smithing because you're a dwarf, but you
Oh
could,
yeah.
but-
There
yeah.
we go.
There you go. So, let's see here. Anything else?
Oh,
Well, what you have to have an activity.
I guess I could study any of the papers that Alchemist left behind as we head for home.
Okay. Do you see him? And there. What languages do you have?
Just normal.
You just have common and dwarf.
Yeah.
What do you have again as your background?
Hill dwarf.
No,
Captured by
that's your
dragon.
race. What's your background? It says it in information at the very top, right beside your alignment and all that.
Oh.
Nothing that learns a new language, no.
What? I'm asking about what it is. What does it say it is? Like, is it acolyte? Is it dragon casualty?
Survivor of dragon casualty.
Close it. I'm streaming. Go. No, close it. Too bad. Leanne, stop it. Sorry, my niece was dropped off here, so let's see what you get from it. Oh, you get Draconic from that.
Ah. That's useful to know.
Oh yeah, and you the forgery thing. That's from your background trait. So, put in notes. You have Draconic as your language, Forgery Kit as your proficiency, and as a dwarf, you have Smith's tool. So yeah, you can repair stuff and all that.
Ooh.
So what do you each want to do?
I would be studying the papers the alchemist left behind as we head for Almany.
Roll an investigation check, because you do not know what language it is in, but you can still see like some basic pictures and whatnot. You don't. Over the course of a few days, you don't decipher much from it, other than it is, as you remember, the Hellfire engine, and it is being built. Like, you can infer from context clues that what these are schematics. You just can't read what they say. Lafatra,
Guess we could visit a library.
what is yours? What do you
What
wish
is
to?
mine?
Yeah, what do you wish to do over the course of these few days? Would you like to create some potions or do something like that?
Yeah, I'd like to create some potions.
Just roll a 1d20, because unless I don't think you have proficiency in herbalism.
Alright. One.
Why is my...
20.
I can play Skyrim with ease, but I can't stream Discord.
What?
I don't get it.
16.
good.
As you create a lesser potion of healing over the course of those few days, as you have to let it ferment some mountain flowers and then mix it in with a dash of bone meal.
I see.
Add that to your equipment, just one lesser potion of healing, and rock. I'll wait for him to get unmuted. But for now, we're doing pretty good. We have 5 people listening on the stream. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Greetings, viewers.
Rap just said he's going to eat and mean
Who?
Rock.
Rock said he's gonna eat you.
Eat.
Is there a type of limit you can have with?
There are no limits in D&D.
Alright.
I'm not doing the encumbrance because that requires a lot of math, and I don't want to do that every beginning of every session just so we have a good baseline.
It's good old fashioned RNG. My favorite.
What? What do you mean RNG?
I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen until it happens, am I right?
No, that encumbrance means that we have to calculate the weight that you're holding. And I don't want to do that at the beginning of every session because you guys like to switch around items.
Oh. Yeah, I think it would be...
It'd be...
I think it would be impossible for me to move.
Well, while we're waiting for Rob, let me explain to our viewers a little bit more in depth of what happened in the last few sessions. For example, once they found this mobile lab, one of the other characters could read Infernal, and read that it was a schematic for Hellfire Engine being developed. They do not know where it is, but they did know that whoever had these schematics survived and ran away after being hunted by someone or something. Next, during their escapade to Lindau, they discovered a cultist group, Gnolls, part of the Undead Council, transforming people, willing or not, into Gnolls, and infected the party with lycanthropy, which they cured with the help of a hag. After all that, they hunted down the Chosen and his cult of worshippers. After killing the cult, they hunted him down to his crypt, discovered he was performing experiments to summon a Tanaruk, which, in D&D lore, can only be summoned through, let's say, marital means. So, it was not a good time. But, in the end, they tried to defeat him, but he escaped before they could even have the chance. Now, they're going to Banburg